Okay, today is June 30th, 2020 at approximately 8:37 p.m. And I'm making this video today because we're still on a march to the U.S. Supreme Court. And we're in there, it's just that we're waiting for an answer. And this case has been kicked back till September 29th. Meanwhile, the FBI is trying to attack me to coerce me to act other than normal. But we've been down that road before. We've been down that road. And like other cases, the judges in the federal circuit are negligent because they're kicking these cases back and saying, no, they're not being tortured. But at the same time, you have a whistleblower or whistleblowers by the name of Dr. Robert Duncan, who you all know I mentioned in several of my videos in my presentations. Dr. Robert Duncan blew the whistle against the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. He's a CIA officer. He wrote a book called Taming a Demon. He wrote a book called Project Soulcatcher, and he has a Facebook account that you guys can follow him and ask him questions. Okay, he's not hiding anything, man. The guy blew the whistle on the CIA, so it's just doesn't make any sense how you have. And I'm going to cite this case because this case is important. You have Hale, Hale versus the FCC. Look up that case. In that case, you're going to see where that guy had filed a lawsuit against several intelligence agencies because they were attacking him and torturing him. But the judge is calling them that they're frivolous, they're delusional, and they're unreal. Well, how can it be unreal as a federal judge if you have a fucking whistleblower like Dr. Robert Duncan, who's all over YouTube? If you can YouTube him, type in Dr. Robert Duncan versus and Jesse Ventura, talks about it. And Jesse Ventura asked, the governor asked him, the Navy SEAL asked him, he says, are Americans being tortured? He says, they're being tortured. Okay, they're not making it up. This is real deal, man. This is a CIA operative, man. And an ex-Navy SEAL and a Minnesota governor, both butting heads. He says, is this complaint by Americans legit? He says, yeah, they're being tortured. So you have federal judges in the federal circuit calling people frivolous, calling people delusional, calling people unbelievable and unholy, when in fact you have a whistleblower that's saying the difference, that he created this weapon, that he was torturing Americans, that he's seeing this happen. So which is it? The federal judge is wrong, or the fucking whistleblower is right? Or the judge is wrong and the whistleblower is right? Or, what's the deal here, man? I mean, it can't be one or the other. There's got to be both, man. So you have a judge denying cases, man, for some reason. Okay? And that's why we're in the U.S. Supreme Court. We want the U.S. Supreme Court to look at this case and say, look, this is going on. The torturing is going on. And we have to look at this, because, I mean, it's just not happening in Texas. It's happening in California, Ohio, Arkansas. I mean, there's several cases, guys. So all we're asking the Supreme Court to do is make a decision, correct the problem of the government, punish them for doing this. It happened back in 1970 with Senator Frank Church. Senator Frank Church created a church committee to go into the FBI undercover, to go into the CIA undercover, and to go into the NSA undercover and stop the fucking illegal spying. This is the same kind of deal, man. Except they're using satellites, wind towers, and smart devices, computer laptops to attack you. Neighbor to neighbor, federal to federal, whatever it is. But, I mean, that's happening, man. We can't deny that shit. Another whistleblower, her name is Karen Milton Stewart. You can track her on Facebook if she lets you in. She's a wonderful woman. Her books are good. Her videos are good. She worked for the NSA for 26 years, man. They booted her out. They began torturing her ass because of her blowing the whistle on all this, man. And so, they wouldn't have created a whistleblower act if they didn't give you the permission to blow the whistle on your own agency, such as the CIA, the FBI, and NSA. And I want to mention Ted Gunderson. Ted L. Gunderson, the whistleblower for the FBI. He knows there's some dirty cops in there, dude. I mean, so the FBI can't deny this, man. The FBI, when you go to Quantico, Virginia, and you graduate from the academy, you swear under oath to protect the Americans, to protect them for domestic terrorism and civil rights. And that's what we got going on. Why aren't they doing the job? Mr. Ray, yeah, you up there, you're in charge of Ed Comey's job, that crooked cop you got up there. They need to indict his ass, too. But, I'm making this video because I want to continue on. My case is still pending the U.S. Supreme Court. The judge set it back until September 29th. Here it is. Case number 19-1289 for all you want to look it up. It's a pending case. It says Benavides versus Barr. Okay? You want to get a copy of my book. My book has got a lot of substantive evidence. There's my book. Okay? The 1994 Hack Mind. The 1994 Hack Mind it's about almost like a movie, man. The Navy, without a federal court order or without my consent, began spying on me in the Marines. And what happened is that the Marine Corps generals, they knew that this was going on. And they said, fuck this, we're not going to jeopardize the Marine Corps for the stupidity of the fucking Navy. So I was jumped from different missions. And so it all came out in the book. It's all evidence, folks. Pick up the book. It's all evidence. And the back of the book's there. Okay? The book talks about me filing a lawsuit in the courts to try to stop this. I filed a lawsuit back on May 15, 2000. On May 15, 2000, I went to the district court here in San Antonio. And I filed a lawsuit against the VA and the Navy because I said, look, man, you guys are illegally using me and spying on me. You need to stop this. And the judge at the time was Edward Prado, who's now, as a funny coincidence, that he was in the circuit court. They moved him to the Fifth Circuit in 2018. They bumped him. They got him the hell out of here. I think he's in Venezuela or some of the small country as working in the embassy. But they moved him out of the country. The thing I'm trying to say, folks, is that we're trying to stop the fucking nonsense. I mean, the government, small corporations are attacking Americans, coercing them to act and kill them, to protect this private secrecy of attacking Americans. And like I said, they wouldn't have created a Whistleblower Act if you couldn't report this to the Whistleblowing Commission. The sad thing about it is that these weapons are used against Americans. It's called treason. It's called torture, which are all federal laws. And that's the bottom line, man. I mean, you can't get away with that. I mean, it is there. It is glue, it's butter, it's a constitutional law, and the FBI is the ones to be investigating this, and they're not doing it. And they're not doing it because they're having fun attacking people, And so we're trying to get into the U.S. Supreme Court, trying to get a court case hearing so we can present the evidence, is which I did in this book here. In this book here, I presented all the evidence, just about, except for the testimony of Dr. Robert Duncan, Karen Melton Stewart, and Dr. John Hall, and other whistleblowers. If we can get them in court to have them testify to the judge, I think we pretty much got it locked. But right now, they're trying to harass me and torture me to cover up a conspiracy, and it's not fair, folks. Today, I went to Hill Country Clinic in New Braunfels. I met with a doctor there, gave me a physical. I'm good, man. He took my urine. He checked my prostate, took a prostate, my colon's good. I'm good. There's no blood. Took some more blood. And then I had a blood test done at Frank Tejeda Clinic in San Antonio. The Department of Veterans Affairs, Frank Tejeda Clinic in San Antonio, Texas, with Dr. Oraya. On June 26th, he took my blood. On June 24th, he took my blood of this year. And June 26th, he came back. His nurse called me back and says, hey, your blood is good to go. And then I went to any lab tests in Church a while back. I think I did a test back on June 1st with any lab tests in Church, and I had a full blood chemistry drawn, and that was fine. So, I mean, I'm fine, man. And I just want justice, man. Nobody should ever be tortured or spied on illegally because you want to spy on somebody's life. No, it's not. That's not the case, man. And, I tried to stop this with the lawsuit. And what happened with that lawsuit in May 15, 2000 in the District Court of Texas, San Antonio? What happened to that lawsuit? It got kicked out by Mr. Prado, who is working in the embassy now. And the reason why he did it, because two things are happening. He's part of a conspiracy on the tech giants because they want to implant and track more people. And they want to torture more people. So he kicked the case out, or he got paid under the table. That's how I can see that, man. I mean, that's the only way. But still, I continued on from 2000, man, to 2020, almost 20 years of investigating this and knocking on the doors of congressmen and knocking on the doors of senators and talking to the FBI and talking to Homeland Security and talking to the NSA. No, man, it ain't happening, man. You're not being tortured, man. It's all in your head. Well, fuck, let's go to the VA then. And what does the VA fucking do? Yeah, man, you're fucking crazy, man. They're not torturing you, man. I mean, come on, you're delusional, man. Let's go ahead and give you 100% disabled and call you mentally corrupt so we can take away the right to bear arms and the right to your security. And so that way we can pay you and we can use you in experiment and torture you and slowly kill you. Do you see how that works, folks? And that's what they're doing to people. They're trying to mentally diagnose you so you can go to the government, so Social Security, to the VA, so they can compensate you, but at the same time turn around and fucking torture your ass until you're dead. So, I mean, it's treason, it's torture what the government's doing. And, you have to present all the evidence in a court of law, folks. I mean, this is not the end. The end is that we have to have our day in court. I mean, we are being prevented from the due process of a law. When you have a complaint and you go to the United States Congressman, United States Senator, and you knock on the door and say, hey, I got a complaint, man. And when you investigate it, yeah, we'll investigate it. So they go and they investigate it, and what happens? The Navy comes back, oh, we didn't do shit to him. We're not torturing him. We're not spying on him. Bullshit. Folks, if you can read my mind, you know what the fuck I'm doing, I'm thinking? That is spying. And you're torturing me. That is torture and spying. That's treason. That's espionage since 1994, folks. Okay? It's funny because if you look in law libraries, if you go to the Federal Law Digests, if you go to the State Law Digests, and you open a Federal Law Digest books and you see all these cases of the federal government being sued, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, all of them were sued at one point in time. But when it comes to me to present my case, what happens? They turn coat. They tried to hide the fucking action. I mean, I've been falsely in prison for 26 fucking years, man. Okay? They've taken away my civil rights for 26 fucking years. I'm not asking to be a fortune. I'm asking the judge to serve me what I deserve. For 26 fucking years, I've been falsely in prison, tortured, spied on for 26 fucking years. And yes, we deserve justice. It needs to stop. You don't want to continue this on to the next veteran, or to the next person. That's why we have the Fourth Amendment. You can't go and spy on somebody and search and seize somebody without a federal court order. You can't illegally eavesdrop and wiretap any without a federal court order. You have to have a judge's consent, folks. And if you don't have that, it is a crime. Okay? September 29, 2020, folks, we should have an answer. Meanwhile, we're playing the left and right game, with Dr. Fauci and the fucking FBI and the CIA spying. Is it this way? Is it that way? Is it backwards, forwards, north, south, east, and west? If you did this. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you're reading my mind illegally. You're spying on me. You're broadcasting my life to society and the government, which you should have no fucking concern with what the fuck I'm thinking or doing. That's a sad thing about it, man. You should have no fucking concern what the fuck I'm thinking or doing. It's nuts, man. But that's what we're facing right now. Because they're trying to delay this as much as they can. Because they don't want justice. They want to hide the conspiracy so they can implant and track more Americans illegally. Okay? Keep your toes, keep out on the lookout, man, because we want justice. This is not fair, folks. People should not be treated this way. We're not animals, we're not animals. Mr. Bill Gates, who had a vision of fucking implanting and tracking Americans, he's an idiot. And he will get sued. And there will be coalitions such as www.targetedjustice.com, PAX International, ICAACT.org, Dr. John Hall. I want to thank you, Dr. John Hall, for writing your books with an S, A New Breed of Satellite Terrorism in America, The Guinea Pig. Those are good books, Dr. John Hall. To you, Dr. Robert Duncan, your ex-CIA intelligence officer, thank you for your patriotic move on blowing the whistle on all this garbage that we got going on with illegal torturing of Americans without an act of war. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. Karen Milton Stewart, you too, you're an NSA operative and a whistleblower. Thank you for your information. Your information was useful, and I carry that in my head. Karen Milton Stewart from the NSA blew the whistle. I have that on my mind, so when it's time to go to court to testify, we will present all that evidence. John Carrico from the CIA, who blew the whistle on torture in the CIA. Thank you for your whistleblowing. It's just devastating, folks, and it should not be that way. Everything has a procedure, and when the government fails to use procedure, there's got to be a lawsuit, folks. You can't get out of that. There's got to be a day in court. Look at the fucking what happened to the black African males who were airmen from the Air Force, the Tuskegee Airmen, who were injected with syphilis behind their backs by the fucking government without their consent. Injected with syphilis. It took President Trump to fucking recognize that, man. Obama didn't do that shit. He didn't recognize the African male who was suffering from the government's fucking conspiracy and criminal laws that they broke for injecting him with syphilis. Come on, man. It took Trump to promote that guy to general. He deserves it. You know, he was on a mission that this guy's been experimented on, okay? But Obama and Biden, they all knew of this conspiracy and they failed to do their job. Obama, I'm talking about you because let me ask you something, Mr. President. Why did you establish the Presidential Bioethics Committee Commission on the website and you had Amy Gutman, Dr. Gutman, testify for you? Why did you take complaints from all these Americans about being tortured and targeted by the government and then you close it down? And you failed to forward that to President Trump. I mean, this has got to continue on, man. The switch of the guard has to be turned over to the next president. You know, we have to open up the presidential commission so we can continue to hear cases, so we can shut down the FBI and the CIA from doing this to Americans. Okay? So, I mean, cheap shots like that, that's not good because this weapon, I tell you what, this weapon up there does not discriminate. It attacks Hispanics, whites, Mexicans, Italians, Jews, Chinese, pink, black people, you know, all kinds of people, man. It does not discriminate. It attacks everybody. You know, Dr. Battar, Rashid Battar, who was treating COVID patients. He said that patients are not dying of COVID. They're dying of hypoxia, suffocation by attacks from electromagnetic wave and frequency. 60 megahertz. It uses 60 megahertz to destruct your lungs and prevent you from breathing, folks. Okay? Dr. Battar's right. Dr. Cameron Slidell from New York. He even says, I've examined 20 patients in New York with COVID. None of them have COVID. They're all being attacked by electromagnetic frequency of 60 megahertz. Okay? So those people, I mean, it's all on YouTube, folks. And we have YouTube because this is the only way to present to American people because the media is not going to cover it. And the media is not going to cover it like C-SPAN or Fox News or NBC because they are being controlled by the CIA and the FBI. And they're afraid to present this to American people because it would be a fucking outrage. What's happening right now? So, you know, look at those videos. Look at the people I mentioned. Those are my witnesses. If I was to go to court and testify, I would summons those people. Dr. John Hall, Dr. Robert Duncan, Dr. Karen Milton Stewart, you know, John Carrico, you know, a lot of those people would be summoned to court, folks, because, I mean, you can't get away with it, man. It is what it is, you know, and when you're reading my mind and you're torturing me, it's illegal, folks. Bottom line. Thank you and God bless.